Hi third grade, happy Friday. You are almost done with your week, and just think, next week we're starting March, which is crazy. So we're continuing to work with our abbreviation, but now we're going to be abbreviating people's titles. So we did the days of the week and the months of the year, and now people's titles. So this is going to be a little more trickier. So if you do have a piece of paper and a pencil at home, I would definitely encourage you to help take notes and write down things as we go through our lesson. So let's review again. What is an abbreviation? An abbreviation is a short version of the word of a word. People's titles are often abbreviated in both formal and informal writing. So we're going to go over some common abbreviation for people's titles. So this is going to be a little different than the months of the years. There's not really a specific order. So as we can see, here is our abbreviations and here are our titles. So let's go over the titles first. We have Captain, Doctor, Junior, Mr., Private, Professor, Representative, Reverend, Saint, Sergeant, Senator, and Senior. So when we were going over the days of the week or the months of the year, it was usually just the first 3 or 4 letters of the word. But now this isn't just the first 3 or 4 letters of the word. It could be the first letter or the last letter. So these are going to be more of having to memorize. So here we have Captain, and Captain is abbreviated with the first 4 letters, so we're lucky there. C-A-P-T. Of course, the first letter is always capitalized, and it ends in a period. So just like the days of the week and the months of the year, the first letter is capitalized and the ending is a period. So doctor, it's just DR, the first and the last letter, DR, period. Same with junior, the first letter and the last letter, JR, period. Also the same with Mr., MR, period. So for private, this is where it gets a little tricky. So private is not just the first and last letter or the first 4 or 3 letters. It's PVT, period. So that's what private is, PVT. Professor is the first 4 letters, PROF, period. And representative is the first 3 letters, REP. So it looks like rep, period. Reverend is the first 3 letters, R-E-V, and of course it is followed by a period. And then we have Saint, which again is just the first and then the last letter, so S-T. So this would mean saint. And Sergeant, now this is just like our private, where it's not the first 3 or the first letter and the last letter. It's going to be S-G-T, period. And then we have Senator, which is the first 3 letters, S-E-N. And then Senior, which is the first and the last letter, S-R. So these are going to be a little difficult. So take some time today to take some notes or just practice looking at it for a little bit. So we have Captain, Doctor, Junior, Mr., Private, Professor, Representative, Reverend, Saint, Sergeant, Senator, and Senior. So now let's go through some examples. So now this is what our homework is going to be like today. They're going to give you the word that we are abbreviating. So with the sentence, a vote for me is a vote for our state's future, promised Representative McMillan. So now I have to know, how am I going to abbreviate representatives? So I know it always has to be capitalized, and I know it's the first 3 letters from before, but am I done there? Because it needs a period before we finish. So now let's do another one. Senator Hiram Revels of Mississippi was the first African American in the U.S. Senate. So now I have to think. I have senator. So I know the first letter is capitalized. It's also the first word of the sentence, so it has to be capitalized. And for senator, that is the first 3 letters of the word, S-E-N, and I always add a period at the end. So now we're going over reverend. After taking an online home repair course, Reverend Stafford was able to fix his sink. So now I have to think, okay, Reverend. If I look back and think back, when we just went over our abbreviations, Reverend is the first 3 letters as well, and it's always capitalized, and I add a period. So let's do one more together. Let me make this smaller so we can read the sentence. Sorry. Okay. Sergeant Stubby, a short-tailed dog, comforted the soldiers in his unit during World War I. So now we have Sergeant. Sergeant was a different one. This one wasn't the first or last letter or the first 3 or 4 letters. This one was SGT, period. So now let's go over it and go back to our abbreviations. So here are our abbreviations. I will end on this screen so you're able to pause and able to look over and write down or just study the abbreviations we're going over today. That is it for today. I will see you next week when it is officially March 1st. Bye, 3rd grade. Have a good weekend.